I wanted to start off with helping you increase your confidence. Is that cool with everybody? Yes. I've got 10 points. So I'm making notes, I'm preparing for the training, and I was like, what can we talk about today at this time that's going to be powerful for this group? Because this group's about to explode. And I'm just telling you that, Ray, and I think this weekend's event that we're doing is going to help us do this. I think this week is going to be an amazing week for us, and I want to help you guys increase your confidence. Now, I'm going to give you 10 different ways. All of them are things that you could utilize, but maybe tonight you go, I'm going to take that one, I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to do this with it. You ready to get started? Yep. Number one, increasing confidence is self-awareness. Self-awareness. When I got started in business, I didn't even know what self-awareness was. When somebody said self-awareness, I'm like, what do you mean by that? That's probably why I was asking that question. And self-awareness is being honest about your strengths and your weaknesses. Not criticizing yourself for your weaknesses, or not thinking you're so amazing because of your strengths, just being honest and saying, I'm honestly good at this, and I'm honestly not that good at this. And if you start that way, the other of these items can then be implemented into your business and increase your confidence a lot more. But if you don't know where you are, you can't get to where you're going. You have to start by where you are, and that's really taking an analysis. Number two, positive self-talk. And I'm not just going to leave it at that and say positive self-talk. I'm going to add a little bit more to it. You have to challenge negative thinking when it starts creeping into your mind. It's not just about speaking positively, okay, and telling yourself positive things. That helps. But it's also when the dark ink comes into your head that's going to start clouding everything, challenging that. When I mean challenging that, it's not so much like don't ever think negative. I don't even know if that works. I think sometimes you're going to think negative, okay? It's not don't think negative, it's challenge negative thinking. Challenge it. Kind of like I start thinking negative and it's like, wait a minute, that's not who you are. Wait a minute, that's not true. Wait a minute, no, that's not right. That's not true. I'm thinking that, but just because I'm thinking that doesn't mean I have to own that thought. That's not true. I'm going to challenge that. And challenging it is kind of like you would challenge something when you were a kid and your parents told you something and you were like, no. You know what I mean? You challenged it. You have to also have that same attitude about negative thinking in your head. Say like, hey, hold on a second. No. I know that thought's in my mind, but I'm challenging that self-thought. And also on the element of number two, practicing self-talk is also practicing gratitude. Okay? So gratitude helps weed out negative thinking. So if you have a challenge with some of the self-talk elements, I used to hear self-talk and I was like, self-talk, you mean like, you're amazing, you're awesome, you're spectacular. And then somebody told me, yeah, like that. And I was like, never really thought about that before. I always thought that was a little corny. I thought some of that stuff was corny, you guys. When I got started, I thought it was a little bit corny. But then I realized that when you have gratitude, it's hard. You can't have both negative thinking and gratitude at the same time. So if you catch yourself having negative thinking, get into gratitude mode. It'll weed out that negative self-talk, okay? Number three, skill development. Number three is skill development. Investing in learning and practicing regularly. Bennett just hit something great right now. He was talking about scheduling and practicing and how you run our system and how you go through A to B to C to D. When I was in your training, how many of you guys, when you were listening to him speak, you were like, that just made it sound simpler. That just made it sound a lot more simple. Now, this is a very simple business. At times, you could feel like it's hard because you don't yet have practice. Anything that you do, like I could do most tasks that you do easily, but if I don't have any practice, it feels hard. When you don't do something, it feels hard to do it. I was watching the Masters, and I was watching McIlroy close that thing down. And there's one day I like golf, and it's Sunday Masters. There's always something about that when the sun's setting and the shadows, and they put the green jacket on. And when you watch these guys do it, don't you just feel like you could go golf? Yeah. Like I'm like, yeah, that looks great. Have you ever tried that? It's like, it just doesn't happen because these guys practice every day and all the time. They make it look easy. And so I want you to know that if you practice regularly, your skill sets are going to be developed. Number four, physical health. Physical health. Exercise. Good posture. Eye contact. Okay? You ever seen somebody that stands well? Okay? They like put their shoulders back. They stand as tall as they are. It doesn't matter how tall you are, just stand as tall as you are. You ever see people slouching, leaning forward, doing one of these? that doesn't increase confidence. If you increase confidence, I don't care if you're 5 feet tall, 6 feet tall, 7 feet tall, as long as you stand as tall as you are and you look straight ahead and make eye contact and keep your shoulders back instead of coming forward like this, that physiology, that physical difference is going to pick up your confidence in a big way. Try it, you'll see what I'm talking about, especially if you're exercising. Number 5, setting up a support system. Having people around you that'll help you support. A support system, when Bennett was talking about the training, and I'm using him as an example right now, and he's talking about when we come in here, this person's here, this person's here, this person's here, we're doing accountability, we're pushing each other, we're driving each other. He specifically mentioned what? A workout partner. He mentioned a workout partner. A workout partner is a support system. If you're in a Bible study, that's a support system, okay? If you have people in your life, believe it or not, we tend to keep people in our life because we were friends in high school. We tend to keep people in our life because we were friends at some stage or they were our coworker. No disrespect, your high school friends were pretty much defined by a zip code. It was geography that brought you together, okay? It wasn't values, principles, what you stand for, who you are. It was like, oh, you. All right, there's about a few of us, and we have to pick some people to hang out with, and you do that. Now, maybe you got some good ones in there. Awesome, if you did. But most of the time, you're going to have to start seeking people out that can support you. And if you don't have them in your life right now, it's okay. Start praying for it. You'd be surprised what happens if you start praying for something. And say, like, God, listen, I'm kind of on my own on this one. I feel like I'm by myself. I know you're there for me, but I need some people right down here that are going to support me, encourage me, drive me, push me when I don't feel like it. And remember, what was number 1 again? What was number 1? Self-awareness. If you're self-aware, knowing that you're not that confident, then you also can be self-aware knowing that you don't have a support group. You don't have people around you that are going to push you and challenge you and do those types of things. And so that's very important to get that part done. Number six, facing fears. Facing fears. Now, it's always easy when somebody says, face your fears. Just go ahead and do it. And you're like, but you don't understand. I'm scared. You don't understand. That's not that easy. Okay, that's not that easy. So let me make it like this. Gradual exposure. Gradual. Soft. Little bit by little bit. Man, they got 15 prospects last week. Maybe you can get 1. Maybe you could do 2. Maybe you could do 3. We call that beating your prior best. Okay, maybe you could just start somewhere and then start improving a little bit more and a little bit more. I remember when when you came to Phone Zone? And you're like, I said, how many times would you normally come to Phone Zone? You're like, I would not. I was like, how many times would you say you're going to go prospect people and walk up to somebody and ask them for a name and a number? You're like, I would never do this. And you know what she did? She did it.
Let's go.
She did it. She went and did it, and then she brought names and numbers, so we made phone calls. And if you could do that once, you could do it twice.
Right.
And then you could do it twice, you could do it 3 times. And before you know it, you're going to be up here training people on how to do that. And then you're going to say, guys, I used to be terrible just like you. And then they're going to go, stop it. No, you weren't. You've always been awesome. And you're like, no, I suck just like you. You know what I mean? And although you see, I did 2 things right there. I don't know if you caught it. Okay, cool. So it's fun. It's sarcastic. It's everything. But I just casted a small vision in her head. I don't want her saying that on stage to anybody. Okay. However, she smiled. I normalized the fear and I helped her take one more step to doing it one more time. And that's really important. And so part of facing your fears, you know what part of facing your fears is? Visualize it going amazing. So I've never really liked strangers. Like talking to people I don't know, I don't really know what to do with these people. But I could tell you this, okay? I could tell you this. I did visualize lighting people up. Now, that could be said both ways. I'm saying this in a positive way. I visualize, when I mean lighting people up, encouraging them. Lighting people up is telling them, you're awesome, you're amazing, you're special. Hey, you have a nice smile. Thank you for your service. Thank you for holding the door open. My man, you just held the door open for that lady over there? Yes, I did. Great freaking job. We need more men like that in our society. Keep up the good work. And then he's like, really? Wow, thank you. Hey, that's a well-dressed man. I like that. Hey, I like the fade, Zane. Look at that fade. Look at that fade. Look at that fade. You can't do that thing on accident. You didn't wake up like that. Okay? I don't care. Nobody's that handsome. He had help. He had a support team. He had people encouraging him. He had people helping him out. And I'm serious when I say that stuff. So when you visualize something going well, I used to have to visualize going on stage and speaking. First time I did a BOM, I wrote out the entire thing. Like every word. You know what happens when you write out an entire presentation? It was 2 hours and 15 minutes long. Okay? Not one person filled out information. Everybody got up and left. Whoever was still there. Okay, I was so nervous, I stood at a podium and I stared at my paper and I read the entire time. I don't even remember looking up. I'm not joking, you guys. I was a terrible speaker. Terrible. But I wanted to improve. And I was like, after that one, I remember sitting there and like being like, man, I don't even need to ask anybody about that one. I'm not even calling any of those people back. I hope I never see them again. To this day, if anybody out there knows any of the people that saw me do my first presentation, it was at the University of San Diego. Okay, I was at University of San Diego. It was a class because we were young. And so one of our recruits said, hey, you should come speak to this class. And it was like after the class was over, kids stuck around. They're like, I want to learn about money. And I don't know what I did up there, but I killed every single person in the room. And then we just left. I never called anybody back. I would expect to get a complaint if I called them back, okay, for what I did on stage. Now, I say that today, but that's the true story. That was my first presentation. And then I said, okay, I need to improve. I need to get better. And you know what I did? I visualized being amazing. I visualized just being amazing and did it again, tried, wasn't that tight, visualized, tried again, and little by little, confidence rose. Number 7, celebrating small wins. You have, no matter how small the win is, you've got to celebrate small victories. I don't even care if you got up and walked up to somebody and then they went the other way, and then you celebrate that win and say, look, I didn't talk to them. I didn't even compliment them. There's no way I could grow my business with that, but I stood up and I walked forward. Normally, I just sit in my chair and let them walk by. But you may think I'm joking. That's celebrating a small victory. So you have to no matter how small, no matter how what? Small. No matter how what? Small. No matter how small, you celebrate the victory. And it's like little bit by little bit. My first field training appointment, I went to the front door and I was praying that they weren't home. Like I was like, God, if you're really there, just make sure they're not home, because I'm at this appointment and I'd rather be broke one more day than to talk to somebody about what I do in business. Okay? Like, you may think that that's a lie. That's not a lie. Remember, I've been doing this for several years. I just stuck it out when other people quit. I just came back one more time. People quit, I came back again. I brought a couple people on board, they quit, I came back again. I kept realizing, you know what? It's not anybody, it's not the system works, this thing works. I just need to improve my game. I need to just keep improving little bit by little bit. And I started having to celebrate all my wins. Number 8, limit comparisons. Limit comparisons. We say comparisons is a thief of joy. Okay, it robs you of feeling good about how you're doing, because you look up and you see somebody that's crushing it and they're doing so well and you feel like a loser. And in reality, sometimes you get into this business and you say, man, I've been here 6 months. They've been here 6 months. They look like a Jedi. I look like I suck. This is terrible. But I want you to know something. You never know how much they've been preparing before they came into this business. You are not born 6 months ago. Just because you started this business, some people start this business with no people skills. Some people start this business with no leadership skills. It's going to take them a little longer. There are other people that also start and they've been working on their game and reading books before they got here. And then they come in here and they find a vehicle. Or let's just say you go, no, coach, I asked them. They said they've never read a book. They never had a leader. They were just a loser like I was. And then they still killed it. Okay. You don't know the type of preparation and watching videos and practicing that they're doing. And if you're coming just on Tuesdays and Saturdays, with all due respect, you can't go to the gym on Tuesday night and Saturday morning and get in great shape. You can't go to the gym on Tuesday night and Saturday morning. Tuesday night and Saturday morning could be good for you, but it's not going to get you into great shape. It's not. Be realistic about what you're expecting. Whatever you do in this business, don't say this. I've been coming here for 9 months. I've been here for a year. I've been here for 2 years. There is no growth in being here. There is growth in doing the activities, reading books, practicing scripts, practicing appointments. That's the hours that count. So if you've been in that spot before, no criticism and no judgment to you. Just go back to what's number 1. What was number 1? Self-awareness. Self-awareness. Just be aware of the fact that you haven't put in the work yet, and say, hey, I signed up 8 months ago. I haven't put in the work, but I can start putting in the work now. It's okay. I can start putting in the work now. So limit comparisons. Focus on your journey and your progress, not somebody else's. Number 9, mindfulness and relaxation techniques. This is going to be funny. I remember learning how to breathe. I thought that was weird. I've box breathing. I've done box breathing too. Raise your hand if you know box breathing. Okay, raise your hand if you're